Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Tourism Occupancy Tax Coordinating Committee meeting for February the 20th. I need a motion to approve the minutes of January 23rd. Mr. Strainer, Ms. Runyon, are you seconding that?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passed. Thank you. We're running our meeting here. I got privilege to the floor. Anybody wishes to speak on the out tax or tourism? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda business. Turn it over to Heather.
Okay. First is Rock Dock Music Festival. Here you go. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Give a quick overview. I know that you were here before, but if you wouldn't mind, that would.
Yeah,
be helpful.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is George Normandin with Normandin Marketing, and I represent the Lake George Steamboat Company on behalf of the Rock the Dock Music Festival. We started the Rock the Dock Music Festival in 2017 as a means to reel in the 200th anniversary of the Lake George Steamboat Company. Mr. Dow gave us our blessing with my wild idea to throw a cool concert out in front of a pier to do something original. I don't know if those of you are familiar with Pier 17 in New York City. It's kind of a really neat venue overlooking in back of you have the Empire State Building. In front of you got the Brooklyn Bridge, and it's just gorgeous down by the waterfront, and kind of seeded my brain to come up with a different idea for the lake, to do something different, something unique that would be a really cool experience for guests to do a concert. And our first year was a massive success. We had Goose, which is now we got them for $1,500. They're now over $150,000 bucks they're selling out crowds. They sold out the pool and cheering arena with Trey from Fish. Was it last year, Jim? And they sold out SPAC last year. So we had them our first year. We had Twiddle, which is an international touring jam band act, and we had Galactic last year from all the way from New Orleans. And it's been awesome. It's been a great event. We have moved it from a Friday to a Saturday, which we're seeing a lot of bookings for people come in for the hotels on Friday night, stay Friday night or Saturday night, say either 2 nights for the weekend. So yeah, this year we're actually, right now, we tried to get Willie Nelson, but his health is not very good. So Lucas Nelson, or we're looking at Rebelo, which is Goose's new band without their drummer. They're a little bit more affordable for us to be able to attain and put on a high quality product. And we're anticipating anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 people at the event. Ticket sales, maybe a little bit more standing room only. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're in contract negotiations with the 2 agencies, and one's in Nashville, one's in New York City, on either one of those artists. So that's where we're at.
Yes.
There's a gray Subaru Outback parked outside BP 7100. If it belongs to anyone in here, it needs to be moved. I know it belongs to Scott Gilligan.
Oh, it's me. What is it? My car has to be moved?
Oh,
All right. Okay, we can get back to the meeting. Thank you, sir. All right, everything. All right, just so before we really get started, I sorry I didn't express myself. We're doing these giveaways for OCTAX on very welcome events. And as you all know, I've been preaching this for the last 6 months, that we're trying to cut back a little bit and get a better handle on the giveaways. Over the years, they've gotten higher and higher, and we still haven't gotten the report yet for January on Octax and December, so we're being very tight this year. So the committee looks at all of these. We have a committee at the downstairs and goes over for profits, not for profits, amount of rooms, and what has been given out. And we come up with an idea. And like we did a month ago, everybody understood that we were trying to get a 10% discount, drop down, I should say, discount, or holding what they got last year or the year before in place. So if we give you a number and you're not happy with it, I want to hear about it, and maybe we can work on something else. But we're just trying to keep this Octax under control. It's been, we had, as you all know, it's been slipping this winter. Sales tax is down, I think in January, $28,000. Octax usually follows something like that. So we're a little on the skids this year, trying to hold reins to everything. So going back to the music festival, you had requested 20,000 for 2024. You said last year was pretty successful and everything worked out. We as a committee got it down to 10,000. And if you think you can handle that, we'd like to keep it at that. If you have something you want to explain to us.
Yeah, I think the only trepidation there is again, we offer 25% of our proceeds go to the local VFW there. And it's more of a community building event. So for, like I said, for the 20, usually generally on events that I do, I like to give above, like my agency likes to, we're at a 1,400% annual return rate, and I like to keep it that way. So I mean, for the ROI that we'd be delivering for the 20,000 would be multiple in terms of sales tax for the weekend there. And in terms of hotel stays and food and beverage sales and all that stuff, which stays right here on the thing. So it was basically, the formula was pretty accurate, plus, the cost, the only reason we're asking for a little bit more is we're trying to elevate the event to make it more of a, we're trying to build it to be a 3-day thing, if we could, but naturally what comes with that was, we've proven from 2017 to last year, it's increased every year. Sales have increased every year. And the brand has become a thing. So it's kind of like, okay, if we can continue this year and get over this hump, where I could bring this back to Mr. and Mrs. Dow and say, hey, listen, we have this proof of concept. I have these, our partners at the county, but we're also leaning on some of our sponsors and partners to step up too. So we're not just asking you, we're actually, we're working with different vendors like Common Roots and things like that to come in and to help us build a great experience for these folks. And I think if we can get one of these two acts that we're after right now and make this a hit year, this could be an absolute staple event in the summertime, especially like you said, if sales taxes, weather is getting weird out there, and during the winter time, and it stinks because we have some great things. The new winter dream thing's a great attraction. We have some great stuff to offset that, but it'd be nice to also, during those summer months to really take advantage of opportunities like Rock the Dock, because it does drive a lot of revenue here and has the potential to be a 3-day event in the future if we can build.
Yeah, because you got to 20,000 last year. You're asking for 10. You're asking for 20 this year.
Correct.
Big jump, but they didn't get any. I don't think you got anything last year.
No, we didn't get anything last year.
Okay.
Never
That-
asked for
That's something
anything.
different. That's
Yep, that was probably for the boat show or the other couple events that I managed.
all right. Questions from the committee? Want to stick with the 10 or move it up a little or down a little? Anybody have any? I don't want to be the only one speaking here now.
Well, it's because Wild's on vacation. So you didn't get any money last year, and you made money last year.
Yep.
And what would you be doing with the money? This for advertising?
Bigger act and advertising for the act. Yeah, for sure. Yep. The two acts we're looking at now were probably a 25% increase over the last year's band. Last year's band was big. But you gotta understand, we were lucky. We got some of these bands, like, we were paying $1,500 for Goose when they first started. And now they're $150,000. You know, we're not paying them that, but everything's increased, as you guys know. There's no, you know, hoodwinking stuff here. Everything's just more expensive than it used to be, and we're just trying to bring, in order to afford a bigger act, to elevate the event where we think we can get the revenue, we can become more self-sufficient in the future, we just are asking for that assistance to try to get us to the next level. In addition to what our efforts have been stepped up on the sponsorship level.
Well, I understand it. Could you live with the 10,000?
Yeah, I mean, we
I
can.
mean, to start, you know, maybe next year when money seems to be a little bit more abundant, we could, you know, look at this over and take a closer look and.
I could appreciate, you can do what you can do, and we appreciate the help. I mean, if that's what you feel is fair, we'll work around that. I mean,
All
I
right,
could make a motion for that. It's okay with the committee.
you'd make a motion to stay with the 10?
And
Motion.
Hmm.
We motion at the end. All
right. Yeah, let me just make sure. Anything else from, Rossi? Ms. Runyon? Because I was gonna say, let's be lenient and move it up to 15, but,
well, you're the chairman.
well, I'm not, I got it from the board here.
I think the 15 is good. It's their first time they're getting the occupancy tax. They didn't get it last year. They did it on their own. I
Rossi,
don't know, 15.
I would agree with 15. If the,
Mr.
motion.
Mr. Strainer, would you change your
I
motion?
can live with it.
You can live with it. Okay.
Committee's preference.
Do I get a second?
What,
Rossi?
she said she wanted to take them all at once?
Oh, yeah, she-
No, we're doing one at a time, right? We have to do one at a time
Oh, all
to
right.
listen to what they say. All right,
All right, so I'll make that motion for 15.
all right. And I got a
Second.
second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approved. You got your 15.
thank you very, very much.
The records, he's out. Ian,
Is not here?
Yeah.
Ken? Are you gonna hold it up or are you gonna?
Hold it.
Huh?
Well, we're gonna wait for him to come in. 'cause there
Okay,
was
so
some
number
questions.
2 over here, the
and three.
reference, 2 of them, we're gonna hold. They're not here. All right, what's the next one here?
So Lake
Barber Shop Harmony?
Barber Shop.
Farmer shop. They're here.
Oh, it's right there. Thank you very much. You wouldn't mind
Go to the
going to the
podium,
podium?
please.
Okay. Can I give you
Yes.
these? Oh,
This is the fourth one down Northeast. Northeast Street. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Good morning. And I apologize for being late. Unfortunately, I have the flu. So around anybody. Oh, I have to talk over there. Okay, I'll try. If you can't hear me, let me know. First, I apologize for being late. I do have the flu, so I won't go near anybody. But I felt this is my first day, first time out. And I truly believe if I'm asking for your help, I need to present and I need to be there because it's that important to me. As you can see, and I don't know if everybody had it before or not, but this is the group or groups that I would like to have come to our area. They've not come in the past ever. I can give you a bit of scenario about each of them. The Alexander Harmonizers up at the top with 60 men or whatever it is, have won 20 medals at international competitions. They perform places like the Kennedy Center or US Supreme Court, Carnegie Hall, the White House. They performed at the 70th anniversary of the D-Day landing in France and at the Great Wall of China and so on. So they are international. They have gotten around. They come from Alexandria, Virginia, which probably is my outer radius of being able to invite groups here. I think it's super important for our style of singing, a cappella singing, to bring them to this area. This year, we're bringing them to Warrensburg High School, who is not so familiar, the students are not so familiar with barbershop. So that's huge in my world, along with reaching out. The little guy in the picture, who is also the director, he oversees the program called Next Generation Barbershop, supporting long life singing around the world. So to have the schools in this area, to have him be able to reach out. He is a judge, faculty member, clinician for several choral festivals across North America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. He's he's been everywhere. And he belongs to everything. Membership in the National Association of Music Educators, Chorus America, American Choral Directors Association, and on it goes. So he comes with a decent amount of credentials too, much more than mine. And one of the things that he does is start groups and choruses and so on singing. And the third little group of ladies, they started in January of 2023. So he would bring them along to perform. So it's basically a men's group, a mixed group. He's going to be reaching out to the youth in the area, and he's going to be reaching out to seniors and getting them going. So I feel very important to have him here. He's every Friday at Warrensburg, they do an assembly at the end of their day. He's going to be the presenter at that assembly with a quartet, one of our first place quartets, there to demonstrate what we do. So this, in a nutshell, is basically who I've invited this year with your approval to come and to work with our area students, our seniors, and anybody and everybody who likes to sing and believes singing is a good thing to do.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
You'll know on there that I asked for 20,500. But FYI, I also asked that same amount and from the village committee, the village of Lake George. We have sold out the, what's it called? Surfside Inn. We've sold those out. We are now going over into other places. Quality Inn, which is kind of across the street and so on, because we've already booked that entire place. So that's where we're at now, and the event is until the first part of May. So the 20,005, I left it on both. I figure you communicate with them. I did try to find out when their committee met, but they never got back to me, so I don't know if it has or hasn't. But that would be a place that you might be able to dicker and share the load, whether it gets approved here and then you work behind the scenes to get some of their the monies they get, because I have no idea who gets what.
Okay. Committee, any comments? Ms.
As-
Runyon?
So Queensbury, you received money from them last year. Did they, or in the past, have they approved any money for you?
This year? No,
Okay.
no.
No other, this is your only source of the funding?
This source, and like I said, I did apply to the Lake George Village. And that was it. Queensbury wise, we couldn't get in, and I'm kind of glad, because when we went to visit Warrensburg, that's a neat little hidden place that no people wouldn't look. And they have a wonderful auditorium and a wonderful school.
And then
So I'm thrilled. We did reach out to Queensbury because we also want to bring our district event here in it's the end of October. And they first said, yes, they were able to accommodate it. Then they got back to us and said, oh, we got a football game or something. So we're looking again for
Any-
October.
Anybody else got any other questions?
No, there's only $500 reduction. Am I right?
It's a $500,
Yeah.
what we came up with, but then, go ahead.
There's also, when you look at the, just also looking at the estimate that you provided, we also have to look at what's eligible and ineligible. For example, you've got some travel stuff on there. So just looking quickly at this, we can only, the eligible cost of this is about $15,000. Based on the estimate that you've attached, which is your event budget. We can't do any hotel coverage or any air transportation, any travel expenses. That's not covered under the occupancy tax dollars.
I would think most all of it would be covered under the occupancy because getting them up here from Virginia is not inexpensive for sure, along with lodging them because they're such a large group. And I know the director, the young man in the middle, he does have to fly up because he's coming in on a Thursday morning, I think, or Wednesday night, so that he can work with the schools Thursday and Friday.
So it confirms the recommendation for 20,000.
We do pay for travel for the performers as well as.
Just the performers, not the staff.
Some of the-
Not
No.
staff, but performers and judges we do pay for.
Okay.
Same thing with like the balloon festival, we pay for the balloonists.
All right, so you want to leave it at 20.
Yes.
So we came up with 20. And I hope that's all right with you.
Okay.
Thank you
yes.
for your time and your efforts. So I need a motion. Ms. Garrett, Mr. Rossi.
Okay. So should
favor?
I do anything with the village of Lake George at this point, or is it,
That's different from
it's a
us.
done deal?
Totally separate.
Okay.
That's
Still
separate.
do something with the village, we just have no responsibility for it.
Oh, gotcha.
All right.
Their occupancy tax money that they use to distribute to the group they have, this is the whole county. So you can still go to them.
5. Okay. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right, we
Okay.
got a motion and a second. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Passed. All right.
Thank you.
where is it?
This is the next one.
What do you got next, Ellie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Should we read that down?
Oh, wait a minute.
All right,
Did
let's
we
keep
miss
it under control here.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Hello, I'm Tommy Strazzeri. This is Chris Mayone. We're with the Lake George Triathlon. We took it over in 2020, but it's an event that's been going on for 16 years. Really excited about this year. Last year was a terrific success. A little bit about me. My family has a house on Green Island. My sister runs a cafe in Bolton Landing, so very local for 6 months out of the year. And then I live a little bit or a little bit downstate the other 6 months. Last year's event, so the swim, bike, run event that takes place Labor Day weekend. Last year's event had 893 registrants. We had added a duathlon run, bike, run option last year. That increased participation. It grew 15% last year and has grown every year since we took it over in 2020. We've got a collegiate division and we represent 20 other states. 35% of our registrants come from outside of New York State and represent 20 other states, including a few other countries as well. Based on our survey results, we surveyed our athletes last year to see how many rooms we contributed for. So 83% came with family and friends, and the average party size was 3.9, so around 4. 78% stayed at least one night in a hotel, and the average stay was 2.3 nights. based upon those statistics, we filled it, I believe I submitted this last year, at the end of the event. We filled that, our economic impact study out, and it was contribute to about $850,000 in overall economic impact. Next year's event is scheduled for August 30th to September 1st. That does not include packet pickup days prior to that in, a couple days where athletes come to pick up their packet in Bolton Landing. We're going to do the same thing as last year. It was a success. People liked it, and we projected to continue to grow. We're projecting 1,200 participants for this year with 4,000 total attendees. Based on our numbers from last year with how many they traveled with. We expect expanded participation in our collegiate division, and we're gonna work closely with the chamber. We always work with the chamber. We're gonna continue to do that. We already have some email marketing in the works. We project this because we have, we were able to get some more marketing dollars last year and use them towards marketing the race and growing it. We have a email list of over 250,000 people on our list nationally. We run events all across the country, triathlons. And of course, it's the 16th year and we're getting over COVID, and as triathlons go, the industry averages has continued to grow. So we've shown that in the Lake George Triathlon, and it's shown across the country. The one big one thing we've changed this year, rather than doing the same thing as last year because it's successful, is bringing Chris Mayone, who will act as, and he can talk to you a little about it, but we want to promote a more, to higher that average length of stay for these athletes. So Chris, you can talk a little bit about that.
Thank you all for having me, and Tommy. We love it up here. Big visitor of the area. I live in Saugerties. I've worked for Tommy's family managing sponsorships at our equestrian events, since 2004. We no longer have those equestrian events, so I'm fortunate enough to still work with the family producing these triathlons. While at the equestrian events, my specialty was working with lodging partners. This year, my main goal is going to be to increase the length of stay for the participants. If I can move the needle from 2.3 to 3, that would, that would be a significant impact and a boom to the area. Right now, we're projecting 1,200 athletes, as Tommy said. Our average length of stay is 2.3. I'm hoping to slide that up. We've already started working towards that goal now in preparation for the event. I've secured a couple of host hotels already in the area, and most notably, the USAT has reached out to us. They work with a group called Hotel Planner, and they only work with top-end triathlons and endurance events. They feel that this is one that they'd like to work with, and their main goal is to help athletes unlock lodging in specific communities. It can be filtered down, and we're honing in on on hotels in the county and increasing the length of stay for the athletes' visits. Thank you.
All right, we have it from 2022, 15,000, 2023, 30,000, and you're requesting 30,000 this year. Anybody, any comments from the?
Just a quick, is there any application to the town of Bolton?
Not the town of Bolton, no. The town of Lake George, we're going to be applying to them as well. We have not done that application.
We should try Bolton, seeing it's mostly up in Bolton, right?
It's not, no, we do a couple days of packet pickup, which means the athletes might, come in and stay. If they stay there, they can pick their packet up there. It's basically to promote a longer average nightly stay. But the race itself is entirely in Lake George.
Yeah, well, our numbers came down that we were gonna offer you 20,000 instead of 30.
So my, I don't want to say argument because I appreciate the offer. What we budgeted that out with marketing dollars to promote this race. I think we've been growing. We've used the money that we did that you gave us last year, which we appreciate, to market specifically. and continue to grow this event in the area. So, we appreciate the offer, and again, I would love if you consider, giving us the same as last year because we have a budget to continue to increase this race and increase our market.
Mr. Trainer?
So you use this for just promotion, advertising, the money that you get from us? And did you get any money from Lake George last year?
We got, the town of Lake George gave us 15,000.
So you need 35,000 to do the promotion. See, what I look at here is, this is a busy weekend, Labor Day weekend. So, you know, I don't know if that makes a difference to the hoteliers up there, if they're gonna be full. If you came in the ninth, I'd probably be a little happier, but, so do these entry guys, do they have to pay to enter
Yes,
into
sir.
this?
Yes.
So you accumulate some money there. Do you make any money off of this?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Okay.
For-profit business. I guess my argument would be that we can prove the hotel rooms that we contribute to for this race. So whether or not it's on Labor Day weekend or the weekend after, we still are able to acknowledge how many hotel rooms we get for this event.
And I'm sorry, sir.
Because I look at this is Labor Day weekend, they're usually pretty
Yes, sir.
full. You know, a weekend before, a weekend after might be better for the hoteliers, but I haven't heard any of them speak, so I don't really know.
We also, we also get the athletes that come year round, not year round, but 9 months out of the year to train. So that you get a lot of transient visitors that time as well. You know, it's not directly related to the race. We do get athletes in throughout the year to get accustomed to the.
Well, as they said, you know, we're not as flush as we've been in years before, so, you know, we're trying to get everyone to come and, you know, try to get them to take just a little bit less, and maybe in the years coming on, we can up the ante, but, it's just difficult right now.
Yes, sir.
So, especially for profit, you know, and
Yeah.
then we appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. You know, you're bringing people to the area and you're bringing, you know, a lot of dollars, but, you know, it's a tough year for us. So, I mean, things will probably open up next year, but I don't know what the committee feels. I think that the number you gave, I could support.
Ms. Rania?
Well, not suggested on here says 15,000, but that's a little, I think that's a little bit, that's reducing it to half. I would be agreeable with 20,000.
Rashi?
Yeah, I would agree with 20,000. I mean, we hate to lose this to somewhere else. I think we can, 20,000 is reasonable.
Trainer, what do you think? Hang in there
You
with
can
that?
live with 20,000, I can live with it.
All right. So the motion is 20,000. Do I have a second? Rania?
Did you want to say something?
I wonder,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
do you have a first for that?
What's that? Yeah, Mr. Rossi was first.
Just,
Are you okay with this one?
yeah.
Okay.
You're all right?
We're-
All right, all in favor?
Not what we wanted, but I appreciate the offer. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so work it out at 20,000. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Next one is
American.
Medicaid.
33.
Yeah, we're
We're gonna do
doing that.
50.
Hello. Hello,
How you doing?
I'm Christian with American. Most of you know us, but I think it might be beneficial just to recap what it is that we do and who we are, just because a lot of people see it from the outside, but never from the inside. So this will be our 41st event this year. We are an unusual event, unusual motorcycle event on the national calendar, in that we're very much a sort of a family-focused vacation-like event. So we work year-round. There's a small crew of us that work year-round to create catered motorcycle rides, guided and unguided, throughout the Adirondacks and Vermont, and boat cruises, catered boat cruises, and musical entertainment and stunt show and educational seminars and rider training. And we host a number of motorcycle companies to provide demo rides. people describe us as sort of like the Disney of motorcycle events. Years ago, we were about a 12-person company. We are now, I have 2 full-time employees. So we've gotten much smaller, and that's not by choice, it's sort of by necessity. The economics of motorcycle events have, and probably large events broadly, have changed substantially. So we do a lot more with a lot less these days. We are a true destination event. So we take place when there aren't a lot of people already here. We take place the week after Memorial Day. It's a pretty quiet time during the tourist season. It'll be, as you well know, it'll be super busy during that week because of American. So we are a destination to those people. People start arriving the Monday of Memorial Day. So Monday night, our event starts Tuesday night and goes until Saturday. So our kickoff is Tuesday night, and then all of the big things are operational from that point forward through Saturday when we close. I think that's.
Well, we all know what it is. We all, if you've been around here for a lot of years, we know what it is. So, and you've never asked for more. So I think we're gonna stick with the 50,000 of your request to keep you going, if that's all right with the committee.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion? Mr. Runyon, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you this year.
It sincerely helps a lot. Thank you very much.
Lake George Art Craft.
Hello, my name is Tim Cianciola, and I'm representing the Lake George Art and Craft Festival. This year it's August 2nd through 4th at the at the Commons Field. And this is our 4th year on the event, and what our goal here is and has been is to create a destination event here in Lake George for nationally known arts and crafts. We do similar events in Vermont and Stowe, Vermont and Manchester. And these are events that people plan their weeks around, the exhibitors plan around them, and that's been our goal here. We are making a little bit of headway in that. We've got a lot more exhibitors already signed up. People are starting to know about the event. We're starting to get phone calls from the public asking us when the event is, so we know that we're starting to make that footprint. I did the paperwork, I read it, and I saw I did have a mistake on one of the things didn't print on the nonprofits that we work with. We work with quite a few nonprofits every year. In the past, we worked a lot with Habitat for Humanity, donated several $1,000s to them. Last year, we worked with Zonta, and they basically help us with the gate and stuff. We make a donation to them. We also work with the Lake George Arts Project, and we work with several other that are not local here. But I mean, we're open to working with most nonprofits. We'll give them space. We'll find different ways to do it. What we're really trying to do now is really continue to grow the event. The biggest thing for us is advertising. And as I've heard before, everything's gotten a lot more expensive. It's gotten a lot harder to do events. It's gotten a lot more expensive. We're putting more and more money into advertising. We do TV, and this being an election year, is going to be extremely expensive. So I know that's going to hurt us, or be more expensive, I should say. We also do a lot of advertising with Facebook and online digital. We advertise this event from Vermont over to Utica, up north as far as Lake Placid, south down through Albany. We have an email list of our own of 25, 30,000 names that we use to promote the event. So we try to really promote the event. Everything we do has Lake George in it. One of the nice things about our event is that it really fits the Lake George demographic. Our event is a very, very family-friendly, family-oriented event. We have kids activities, we have live music, we have food, drinks, in addition to the art and craft. So we really try to make our event fit what Lake George is known for. In terms of the hotel nights, we did try doing some surveying, putting some numbers around it. We have about 110 exhibitors in the show. About 80 of those stay locally in hotels. We have the staff that stays in hotels. We interviewed a little over 100 people, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest and say I don't put a lot of. I mean, I came up with some numbers, but about half the people that we interviewed said that they were staying in Lake George. The average stay was 4 nights. So if we had a little over 4,000 people, you know, that we can say that translates into some number of nights. What I really can't get a good finger on, I'm trying to figure out better, is how many people are here because it's Lake George is busy, and how many people are coming specifically for the event. And so what we're really trying to encourage is to get people who will come, who wouldn't have been here otherwise, to come specifically for the event. The event's been modestly profitable the last couple of years. We're really working to try and keep our costs to the public and to the exhibitors the same. So we're putting more money into it, and hopefully you guys can help us out.
All right, we were asking for 7.5, you got 7.5 last year, so we were asking to keep it flat, you didn't go up. So I'm saying we should give you 7.5, but it's up to the committee.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the help you guys have been.
All right, Ms. Runyon made a motion.
Well, just to clarify, last year they got 5,000.
Oh, the year before that, they got 5.
Well, that's the request.
That's 23, they got 5. Am I looking at the wrong thing? Oh, yes, yeah, okay. You did go up.
It's the suggested amount.
What do you think? That's my fault. I was looking at the wrong column.
Yeah.
It did go up 2,500.
I'll go with the suggested amount on here, 7,500.
75. Second,
Can I ask a question?
go ahead.
Do you get anything from the village or the town of Lake George?
Yeah, last year we got, I think, $33,000 or $4,000. I don't know what's going on. I've sent a couple emails. I haven't applied yet. And I heard other people that haven't done it yet. Usually it's right about the same time.
Yeah.
So I am, if I get the information, I will apply to them.
All right. Any other questions? 7.5, we got Ms. Runyon, Mr. Rossi, the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Fine.
Thank you very much for the support, for the help. Thank
You got it.
Suzanne, the legal chairman,
Here for the,
World's largest garage sale?
yeah, Suzanne's not here. I think we still have time. We can push this to the next meeting. Unless we want to, since we know about the event, are there any questions that we would have from the application?
I put 37. It's $500 less than last year.
That's the
Yeah.
2024 column.
Do you give them any money?
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, I'm all
Do you
screwed up.
give them any money?
The 23
I
was
think-
7.5. 35, then they went to 27.5, 37.5. Well, what do you?
We want to wait till the applicant comes in to ask questions. I was just gonna ask Supervisor Garrity, does town of Warrensburg give the money?
Yeah.
Same amount? Same amount here? What do you give them? It's difficult making these decisions when I know the towns have money and I don't know what they're giving. You know, it's-
Set it up for them now. Charge a permit fee, but the town keeps part to pay for the overtime or anything, we collect the garbage, so. I mean, I think whatever amount you give them is fair. It's a not-for-profit. They don't make money off of it. You know, it's a chamber, usually one for. It will give them, it will help them out too.
Pretty much your biggest event in Warren. It's the biggest event
The
that
big
you have in
event.
Warrensburg.
Yeah.
Signature event in Warrensburg.
No, it's a weekend. I don't go up there.
Shame on you. And she does a very good, very good.
Oh, it's busy. It's very busy.
All right, what do you think?
I think we can move on it. I mean, we're all.
We should move on it, right?
Why wait another month?
I had 37, it's 500 less than last year. Right, or am I
Oh,
wrong? here?
30,
No,
35. It's
The
same
amount
amount-
suggested is
Same amount
35,000.
as last year.
That was.
Okay, what's the number? Let me hear something.
She doesn't ask for anything that she doesn't need. She's very, if you see her numbers, so.
So she got 35 last year.
Right, 2023. They jumped up to 37.5 this year.
That's what you could recommend. Okay.
I'll be a team player. I would say if you wanna give them what they got last year, I'll make up the difference. I don't hoard my money.
Attaboy.
All right, I got a motion on that, Mr. Rossi. All right, do I get a second on the 35?
Yeah, 35.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Pass. We'll do that.
Remember what I said when you come in asking what your hands out.
What's
All
next?
right, the last one we have here is the arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts. It's a new event.
Page.
New event. Huh?
53. I just was gonna comment on the world's largest garage sale. If you look at the STAR report, they have increased the room nights each year. Over the, like, as they've asked for more money. I know last year Suzanne asked me to run that report for her after the event. You could see the growth. I think Friday night it was like 3.5%, Saturday night was 8% of just room nights for that particular event.
Because we are running it on Friday night.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
We are running it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But that's okay. I'll take care of it. I'm a team player. I just.
All right, team players get a
That's why
award.
we love you.
All right, the last one is the,
But not a club, are they here?
Sante
There,
here.
Lorraine?
do we have another one? This is a new one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lorraine Abbas, and I'm here representing Zonta Club of Glens Falls. Those of you who may not be familiar, Zonta is a worldwide service organization. Our mission is to improve the lives of women and girls. And we do that through service. So all the money we make from any events that we have goes back into the community. We have many partners, agencies that are helping women and girls. Excuse me, it's dry. But we also like to do the hands-on kinds of volunteerism that our community benefits from. So this event, the Zonta Club of Glens Falls Arts, Crafts, and Curiosities Fair, is in its third year. But we have been operating this kind of event for over 50 years in the city of Glens Falls. And COVID turned everything upside down. We lost our event space, which was the same weekend as LARAC, which allowed us to have a large draw. And we are now in the city park in Glens Falls. It's growing, but we have very little budget for advertising since all the money we use comes out of whatever we would be giving in service. So I worked closely with Phil from LARAC this year. He was very helpful in having and helping me understand how to make this big, maybe as big as LARAC someday. So we're kind of following in those footsteps. We are able to budget for radio advertising this year, which we've never done. We bought a banner that we can put over Glens Falls and Queensbury. So we're kind of new, and I feel like I'm getting my feet wet in this venture. So support from the county to help us understand better how to track attendance, how to know if we're making an impact. Right now, I'm just looking at area codes saying, oh, these people who are coming are from out of the area. And maybe doing a better job at surveying. Last year, I'd say we had probably 1,500 people attend. It's a 2-day event. And this year we're adding a lot of kids activities. We have 70 vendors signed up already, and it's only February. So our goal is to get enough money to advertise Capital District and beyond, and hopefully grow this into an event that will be a signature Mother's Day event, which is off season. So that helps, I hope, in understanding, what we're here trying to do today.
All right, that's second weekend of May, which is a quiet time, so.
Yeah.
And you're asking for 3,500. I would suggest we give this 3,500 and get this program going, and maybe we can help you next year with more.
Thank you.
I got-
Much appreciated. Any questions?
Question,
Go ahead, ask
Yeah.
a
do
question.
you get anything from the city or from Queensbury?
Never applied to Queensberry. This is the first time applying for any money. We always have been out of pocket. I did a grant and it was minimal. But again, we're just starting out, so we aren't really sure how to move forward without the experience of doing this. But we haven't heard anything yet. I'm sure we will at some point.
Well, in my office, I have a lot of Zontans. And I know how hard these people have worked.
You do. I know you do. We work really hard and
All right.
we are making an impact, I hope.
You're doing a very nice
All
job.
right, so we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. You got your
Thank
money?
you. Question?
Uh,
What?
I did want to
Oh.
comment on the Zonta folks. They did bring their regional conference here last year to the courtyard. And Lorraine helped to lead that effort with their district governor. And they have continued to do that when they can. I know it rotates around the district. But because of Lorraine's leadership among the Zontans here, they have continued to bring business that actually does generate a revenue in addition to their other.
And we are at the Marriott again for International Women's.
All right, that part of the meeting is, all right. Mr. Strainer, let's go moving on.
Before we move on, we're gonna need to pull dollars from the reserve. So for the 55,500,
Okay, we need a resolution.
that's over the budgeted amount,
55,500.
correct? So there was in our line item of $500,000, we went over $55,500. We need to pull it from the reserves. Either pull it from the reserves or pull it from the spending plan.
Ooh.
I think you're pulling it from the reserves.
Need a motion to
Well,
pull
I
it from the
guess we are.
reserve. Do I get a motion, Mr. Runyon? Mr. Tarasi, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's passed.
I'll get you that resolution.
Let's move now to 4A,
4B.
4B. That's right, we just did it. 4B.
For this, in this particular, in today, 55,500 today.
151.
150, 151,000.
No, we didn't.
How much did you award? What's your number? Go ahead, read it. 151. Yes, sorry. So looking at resolution,
Excuse me, but that's including the two that didn't show up.
not including them because they're not here yet. So we haven't approved a dollar amount, so we can't allocate any dollars
All right,
until we know what the number is.
so we're just going with that. Okay. All right, let's move on. B.
Read that?
Chair, if I could just make sure that was there a vote on every single one individually? Okay.
All
Including
but
the first
two
one.
Ones that didn't show up.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so resolution request to appropriate from the occupancy tax reserve in the amount of 20,000 to fund the approved Cliff and Redfield's agreement with the planning department. Last committee meeting, we approved the spending of that. And the rationale is the contract has been extended for another year. So we need to appropriate those dollars from the reserve,
It's 20,000, right?
correct? 20,000.
Do I get a motion? Mr. Rossi, Mr. Runyon? Any other questions? All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Passed.
Okay, the next one, we have seen him before, Ridner's Performing Arts Company. We did look at this last month to extend the contract. We need to make sure that the contract is not as an event, but as a production, and therefore has to be put in front of the committee to authorize an agreement in the amount of $36,400 for the Performing Arts Company to create Warren County Historic Adventures, an 11-episode video series that will be featured on History on the Road program. We will also get access to those videos to share on our channels. And the project showcases and promotes Warren County historical locals and assets.
I need a motion.
I have questions, but I'll make.
Go
a
ahead,
motion to
what's
get
the
it on
question
floor.
first?
Didn't we just have a presentation from him last month?
We did, and it was to
We-
extend the contract in the existing form as an event. But
So wasn't this in the budget?
it is. It was actually
had
an
budgeted
extension
for
of
this
last
before.
year, yeah.
So we're not gonna take more money from.
There's
Peter
no-
St. Paul.
It's no, and the reason for D, not to jump ahead, is because the dollars have already gone back. If the dollars aren't spent in 2023, they go back to the reserves. So we need to pull it from the reserve because the contract date ended.
So
Right.
it's the same money.
It's
different
the
year.
same money, just moving it around.
Shell game.
It's, yeah.
All right, you made the motion, Mr. Strainer,
Sure.
Runyon seconded, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, passed.
And then D is the latter part of my conversation to appropriate the funds from the occupancy tax reserve in the amount of 36,400 to fund the execution of this contract. The rationale is to appropriate it from the occupancy tax back to Warren County projects.
That was already budgeted.
It was already in last year's dollars. but
I look at Supervisor Thomas to make sure that, we're. Okay. Want to make sure.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate it.
In case they come after me, I haven't got any money, so we're in trouble.
I need a motion, somebody, Mr. Runyon, Mr. Gerasi, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, passed.
And a final piece, just for educational purposes, every year we get I Love New York matching funds. Through that, we are required to support the region of the Adirondacks. And therefore, this is a authorization from the agreement we approved last meeting in the amount of 52,398 with the Adirondack Regional Tourism Council for Regional Marketing Services. This is in the tourism budget. So I want to make sure that you're recognizing that. The other piece is half of that match is pulled from matching funds. So New York State gives us half of that. We then fund the other half to continue contractual relationships for the the Adirondack Regional Tourism Council doing marketing services.
Mr. Runyon, Mr. Gerasi, all in favor?
You look at me for. This motion was made and seconded. I can't do any more.
All right, you didn't have your hand up. All right, that finishes that part.
We got to vote.
All right, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, passed. Discussion items. There's a part with the spending plan. We have not, that was not put in the budget of 2024. And we're waiting to see what the occupant tax adds up for this quarter. And so we're gonna move it off for another month. Because that spending plan was put in place years ago because we had a lot of money in the occupancy pact and we were trying to distribute it to towns. Now we're getting down to being tight, so we're holding off on this. All right. Yes, sir.
Explain a little bit better to the committee and the people. Towns are not gonna get extra money this year, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Right now, no, it's not in the budget.
So the money that we allocated in the funding. It's gonna go away for 2024.
Yeah, it went away for a couple of years.
Towns understand that.
Right.
So if you think you're gonna get the property tax money that you got,
You didn't get any last year.
yes, we did.
Or the year before we didn't, 2 years in a row before we didn't.
You got our money last year. Nobody's gonna get it this year, so.
Not yet. We're waiting for we're waiting for the quarter of the occupancy tax comes in to see what the quarter was.
So the fund was underfunded. It wasn't put in the budget,
Wasn't put in the budget.
proper amount that it should have been put in.
Right.
So it wasn't budgeted for.
No.
So the towns who may be looking to think that they're going to get that extra money, it's not gonna happen right.
Not right now.
Well, that's a compounding issue, right? We've been asking applicants if they've applied to towns, village, for additional funding. Some of them have said they have or they will. But are we asking them with an answer we already know? If there's not gonna be funds available?
Well, the towns all get money. This is this extra plan for towns. They all get,
I realize it, but in my town, we've already got, I think, 5 applicants for the funding that we get through. So I'm a little lost there based on what our chairman has said. Will there be funds available for the towns to redistribute to applicants?
At this moment, there's about. Go ahead.
Well, I don't not see how, if you're taking money out of the reserve fund right now, how is there gonna be any money available to the council if they come in and make a request to take money out of the reserve fund? There won't be any spending plan money. There's a little bit of money in the spending plan. So in the line item for the spending plan, we haven't tapped into that yet, right?
Correct. Nope.
So that 195 is in the budget.
right.
Correct.
So there's 195, but normally,
It would be.
so that's gonna be discretionary funding if the town comes in and wants. You're gonna take it from the spending plan, is that how you're gonna do it, or you can
There's not 195,000.
hold it up?
There was, not in this budget. This budget was based on $7 million, which was our estimate at the time we budgeted in September.
Right.
We have collected $7,400,000.
Right.
So we do have more money received to date for 2023. But based on $7 million, I've got a copy of the budget here.
Yeah.
We did not put 195,000.
Oh, I thought that's what-
It was previously.
Oh.
This year, we budgeted 50,000.
Okay.
The spending.
The spending plan was.
Well, I just want the town supervisor to understand, and the city of
No, there's a-
Gonzales,
$133,007.
For spending plan.
Correct.
Right, no, he's talking about
Oh, the municipality dollars for the
municipal
application is
application
only
fund.
50. That's what it's been
but
the
you're
last.
already
few-
given that out. haven't you?
We've given out the majority of it.
Yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to talk.
No, it's fine. But the towns are still gonna get their 30,000 plus anything extra. They're still gonna get money. This is the spending plan is
I
separate.
understand that, Jim.
Okay.
Some people may have gone to thinking that they're gonna get that extra 20,000 to have people come in and ask for other events that normally they would cut back. And some of the towns have already asked for 2024 money already, and you've awarded it. If you only had 50,000, you gotta be close to.
Yeah, we've got $14,138.
left now. So you don't really have a lot of money, and I just want the town supervisors to understand that you're not going to see the $20,000 extra that you normally see.
But it could come into play in another month when we see what the occupancy tax shows us.
I understand that, but you're gonna take it from reserves if you do that.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. We're gonna supplement that additional dollars, should the committee approve it, with the reserves.
But you already tapped into reserve for 100-some thousand today.
Only 55,000. We had some of those some of the dollars remaining in our line.
All right?
But you're correct.
We're agreeing to disagree.
All right. Winter Coalition.
You, us, a lot of coalition.
Winter Coalition.
And Sam, we do have the commercial if you need it to be played.
You want to, you can do that, I'll give you this.
Yep. Can she?
Yes, use it in the back of the room. I'll just look on. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for having us again. We're going to present January's numbers to you. So thank you. It's been a very interesting winter. We don't have Sarah Mannix today to talk in depth about the marketing numbers. We'll do the best we can. She will be with us next month as we come in, and we'll have much more in-depth analysis for you. Okay, with that, I want to turn it over to Christian Dutcher.
Hello again. As we noted in our prior report, so much of, well, not so much, but a big portion of what we're doing is helping brand and build Lake George as a winter destination to a very,
Speak a little closer to the mic. That's it. Thank you.
I'll hunch over here. So we continue to market extensively to a very large region, trying to brand Lake George as a winter destination. As Sam mentioned, Sarah, when she's here during our next meeting, which will be in presumably about a month, she can go into much greater detail. And at year's end, we can provide a very comprehensive report of that. But to date, we've sold 25,000 tickets. In January, we averaged 270 tickets per night. Our biggest night was just under 1,000. That was in mid-January. The following heat map showing the regions just shows how extensively we draw from regions near and far. So obviously Albany and the region is a hotbed of activity, but not surprisingly, Long Island, New York City, the whole southern corridor of I-87 is also a very strong customer base, as is west of us. And in fact, we get a fair amount from Montreal too. On the following chart, you'll see January ticket sales, and you'll just see the cycle. We are closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And there's the cycle where tickets spike on Saturday. Friday is also strong, but obviously Saturday is the day. Sometimes there are days where Sundays are a big draw. That depends on whether there's a holiday nearby. The final few days of January, you'll see that we didn't sell any tickets. That's because we did a big enhancement of the show. So we closed down for several days, and we coordinated with the technology company, Moment Factory. They came down with a big team. They did this big installation at no cost, no labor cost. And the impact of that, the impact of that enhancement has been great. And we're already seeing the data reflecting that satisfaction, the overall scores. We ask them all sorts of questions when they're there, but that few day period where they did enhancements has been very beneficial. We're pleased to say that I Love New York, thank you, Heather, came by and filmed the show. So for next year's I Love New York marketing campaign, it'll feature some portion of the Winter's Dream show, which is great because it's visually obviously very striking. And do you want to do this or do I do this?
Yeah, I think Heather, now is a good time to cue up the commercial, if you would, please.
This story begins with a dream. While the world slept, winter came to life all around. The lake, the trees, the snowflakes, everything was made of light.
So hopefully that's not your first time seeing that commercial. It's been on many TV channels, many primetime time slots. We have reached, by the metrics of the professionals in media, over 300 million people, and we have spent the equivalence of $3.3 million in advertising on commercials like that, influencers, social media, et cetera. Many of you probably got an email from me this morning, bright and early, as my day starts early. It was an internal email inadvertently sent out to everybody. But it talked about advertising and things that we're doing as we end up in March and starting to close down the show and thoughts and the process. So I apologize if I woke you up with that ding on your phone or that ding on your thing. Moving on to the next page. This is right from the Smith Travel, the SDR reports. This is an average of the 5 weeks. Smith Travel, if those of you that got it or review it, runs from Sunday to Saturday. So this first Sunday that would have represented January is December 31st, all the way through the last week of January 28th. So this is an average. We're happy to report that midweek, we were up 16.25% in RevPAR, which is a calculation of occupancy and average daily rate. So the combination, you want to look at both of those when you're figuring out octax dollars. And we were up 1.92% on the weekends. Just to remind you, as we reported last time, we were up against 2023, us and Essex County, the winter games, the collegiate winter games last year. So there were pretty significant numbers that we were up against. And then we had very unusual weather patterns, as you know, and a lot of obstacles this year. So we're content with those numbers for January as it stands right now. The next slide in your packet shows the comparison of us versus Essex County. And again, these are the averages of those 5 weeks right off the Smith Travel reports. If we didn't have the attractions that, and all the things that you're approving today, all these festivals and stuff really drive hotel rooms. If you didn't have that, we could have the slide of 33% that Essex had. And think about that for January, what that would have done to the coffers if we had a 33% slide in octax dollars.
If I may, just briefly, what you're looking at is you're looking at Warren County over Essex County, same time periods, comparing weekend and midweek. Essex is substantially down.
And the blue bar is your midweek, and the orange bar, if you will, is your weekend. We had, next slide, we had some special events. January 25th was Military Appreciation Day. Very happy we had good attendance on that. We held February 13th, a very heartfelt fundraiser for United Way. Wonderful event. Actually had tears in people's eyes. We're happy to do that. We have it on the books again for next year. We'll continue to do that. Monday, as we reported before, was special discounts in all the price shoppers in the 518 area code. And then we also had many companies that use discount codes, the hospitals, Surgery Hospital, Glens Falls Hospital, that we put out there and went and talked to them and met with them to give their employees discounts as well. So those programs worked. We'll continue to work on those for next year and improve those. As far as guest satisfaction, do I take that question?
Sure. We query everybody who comes through the show, and the Winter's Dream is a very unusual event in that I run a number of different events, and typically when you measure customer satisfaction or how much they like the show, it's always a bell curve, and that bell, you want that bell closer to the best score possible, but there's always a bell in it, and the top of that bell is never at the top score. With Winter's Dream, throughout the entire season, and it's only gotten more so, the top of that bell is at the top grades. So on a rating of 1 to 10, the people who absolutely love the show, that's the majority of the people, which is very unusual. So it's a very high quality show. It elicits strong emotions. As I said before, the vast majority of people coming through the show feel that way, which is, again, it's unusual to me, and I've been doing events for a long time. You'll see we have quotes here and there. But in January, the customer satisfaction rating was 91.4%. That's really high. I aspire to do that with my other events. The quote that we have here, and this is I just went through and grabbed from this very long list of superlative quotes. We loved it. My 8 and 10-year-old thought it was magical. It was well done and a wonderful activity for all ages. It exceeded our expectations. I mentioned earlier that toward the end of January, we closed down for a few days to do these show enhancements, and immediately our scores got even better. So in February, after the enhancements were made, the customer satisfaction rating is 96%. So the advocates that we have of the people who love the show really love the show. And then we have these 2 quotes in here. one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. I did not write these. These are actual customer quotes. My family and I were moved to tears by the beauty of it. It exceeded our expectations. And then another one says it was beautiful and uplifting and brought you to that sense of wonder and enjoyment. I could not stop raving about it. So it's a very good quality show. Do you want to talk about restaurants? Sure. Okay.
So besides bringing many people from downstate, some of the local patrons have also enjoyed our restaurants as well as the people from outside of the 518 area code. So the restaurants that we're talking to all gave us, or many of them gave us testimonials, what increases they saw. You'll see that in your packet. The first one was Joe Mandela, who gave us a long quote, but just the highlights of it was the decision to move 7 days to a 7-day schedule was based on attractions like Winter's Dream and Winter's Realm. So having these attractions here allowed these restaurants to open and staff employees and continue to grow. Next page is a quote from Saluti's restaurant. I would kill his name if I tried saying it. But his quote is, "I'm pleased to note the substantial increase in our business, particularly during the months of December and January, and have observed positive impact of Winter's Dream on the community overall. The project has undeniably brought a welcome boost to the local economy during the time of the winter when business traditionally faces challenges. Initiatives like these continue to the prosperity of our economy, making it a great addition to our region." That's Saluti. The next one is from Barnsider, Eddie Pagnotta. Wrote us a letter, personally wrote us a letter. And he goes on to say, "My name is Ed Pagnotta and I own the Barnsider restaurant. This past winter has been a challenging one. Mother Nature has not cooperated for Lake George in the past months. Holiday break weeks and key winter events experienced unusual rain and warmer temperatures, as we can all attest to. Events such as Winter Dreams and Winter's Realms were a positive impact on my business. They brought more winter tourists than we would have had without them. Our midweek dinner numbers were higher on the days that they were open." That ties right in with the stats I gave you earlier. "We desperately need attractions like these that they help us stay open," and on and on. So just a few testimonials from the restaurants that we know that with your help in doing these type of events make a huge difference in these winter months. We have faced challenges. We will come to you next month with very in-depth data in the process of tabulating that. Gina will help us with even some Zartico information as well. We'll bring you stats, and I think Heather and the tourism department will want to sit down with us and see this, and we'll be anxious to formulate a plan on the winters going forward, as this is a 5-year plan. So with that, we'll take any questions, and thank you for your time, and always, if you haven't seen the show since the end of January, please come back. It's changed quite a bit. It's been improved. Questions? Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Sam, just one thing, my little business, it helped a lot this year.
Thank you.
I'm slower than usual, but most of the people that have come to the Winter Dream.
Great to hear. Thank you.
All right, no questions.
Arena, it's all
Cool
you.
Arena.
We saved the best for last.
Thank you for saying that out loud. So Jeff Mead with the Cool and Strong Arena and Adirondack Thunder. A quick 2023 year in review. Adirondack Thunder, we had 41 home games in calendar year 2023. That includes 3 playoff games. And last year, we averaged 68 fans per game, which was our best since we took over the team. The good news right now, we're averaging 4,008 fans per game. That includes 8 sold-out games, including last Saturday. So our attendance for the hockey games have been very good this year. We're home again Friday and Saturday should sell out again. So all positive right there. 58 arena events in 2023. That's excluding the Thunder games as well. Highlights, Section 2 basketball, which is next week. The state boys basketball finals, state girls basketball finals. We did Brewfest last year on the arena floor. We had a dance explosion event for I think the second year, which is a 5-day dance event. Teams come from all over the Northeast. The Puppy Bowl was back last year. We did a couple of spa shows. Godsmack was a big concert last year. The rodeo, Albany NCAA basketball was there a couple months ago, and a bunch of junior hockey games. So certainly a busy arena in 2023. And then Heritage Hall, we had 31 events last year. And obviously that space was down for 5 months for the full renovation. So 130 total events at the building last year, which is our best year by far since we took over in 2015. So as I mentioned, Heritage Hall, we did a full renovation. And thank you for the money that the OCTAX gave us and ARPA gave us as well, along with the city of Glens Falls and a bunch of other donations. The room is complete. If you've seen it, I think everybody thinks it's a very beautiful space. Hockey games alone, the amount of people that are going into Heritage Hall around 5:30 when the doors open, it's more than doubled. It's been pretty cool. We had music last Saturday night, and the room was actually almost full at 6 o'clock. George Normandin, who was here earlier, played for us. But besides hockey games, we have 3 wedding receptions booked in 2024, a bunch of private events, company functions as well. So we're starting to see a lot of use of the Heritage Hall space. So thank you again. Other items, we purchased a new Zamboni, which arrived this morning. So that's pretty exciting if you like to drive Zambonis. But, it's needed. And I think the last one was a 2003 model, and the one before that was a 1990 model. So definitely needed. And we're continuing to invest a lot of money in our building equipment, which again is old. So 2024, certainly we continue to invest in the building equipment. We're going to upgrade another food stand and look to upgrade the bathrooms that are close to the Heritage Hall space. So we've also started looking at more private areas in the building. The suites that we did a few years ago are all sold out this year, and they're actually already committed for again next year. So it's been quite a project. We're very excited about that. The last thing, certainly 2023, a very solid year. We're hoping to build upon that in 2024. As I mentioned earlier, the Thunder doing very well crowd-wise. Second best record in ECHL, and we're leading our division by 12 points, which is pretty exciting. And we still have some of our biggest games of the year coming up in the second half. So I think we'll probably get to 12 sellouts during the regular season, which will be 33% of our home games. So very good in many different ways at the arena. So thank you again for your continued support, and happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
You must have one.
One.
Got one for you, Jeff.
Yes, Heather.
Actually, more, when I went to visit, you and I were talking about some of the changes in the rental space and how some things you have to basically give for free, and it's more of a community support. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, certainly. And, this is mainly the Boys State NISWA basketball tournament. When I first got there in 2015, I think NISWA paid the arena about $34,000 in rent to rent the building. And the last bid was a $0 bid, and that's kind of the way NISWA is transforming their operations. So again, it's a good event for the building, but it's a tremendous event for the community. So we basically give the arena away for free for now 4 days. We do get some relief from the local basketball committee. I think last year they gave us $20,000 to help offset all of our expenses to operate a 4-day tournament. Volleyball's gone the same way. It's a $0 rent that we give NISWA. So again, I want to make sure everybody realize, it's still a good event for the arena, but it's not an amazing event for the arena in terms of profit and loss for that weekend. But again, we recognize how important this event is, basketball, even volleyball, to our community. So it'll be a big loss for next year. We are bidding again in the volleyball. Hopefully we'll maintain that as well. But so I hope that answers your question.
It does, and you also don't get entrance fees either.
No, all the
So
all the ticket money goes to NISWA, yeah. And for basketball, again, it's a high school event, so you can't sell alcohol. So our revenue is based upon food and beverage, which is obviously, food and Pepsi and water.
I think it's important for them to know some of those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
You asked me a million questions at every game, Dave. I expected one today.
Well, I was gonna mention how well you're doing for the nonprofits that do the 50/50. These school kids are getting to go to lots of different places, and it's making a lot of money for them. It's not in your bottom line, so. But it has been a fun season. The team's been phenomenal. It's really fun to go because, it's not just the hockey. It's to see people sometimes don't ever see. Really a community kind of thing, and it's gotten very, very big. And I hate to give Jeff a lot of accolades for that. He's done a nice job. His staff is tremendous. Those booths, those upper seating has been amazing. Most people, when they first put it in, didn't think it would do a real lot, and every game they're sold out. It's been a lot of fun, and if you haven't been to a game, I'm going to tell you, this is the year to go. But it's been a good time.
Thank you.
Mostly because of who, sponsors the Jersey raffle though, but, you know.
Huh, I'll have to renegotiate that next year.
We are gonna renegotiate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Comment? Anything? Thank you. We have no referrals. Privilege to the floor and public comment. Seeing none.
You know, I would just like to say what a nice job this brochure was. This is really interesting. The roughness of it, what was the basis for doing that? It was, I've never seen anything like this, and to me, it's something that if you hold, it's gonna stand out to you. So,
Being different, actually, the agency that won the bid for that recommended it and we tried it out.
yeah, I don't know if everybody's seen this or taken a look at it. It's very nice. Nice job, and I think
It
that,
seemed to do a good job.
well, and you're gonna remember this stupid rough thing, it's just a strange thing, but once you feel this, you're gonna remember that it's not like every other glassy eyed brochure, it's something different, so just my thoughts.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The department worked hard on that brochure this year, last year. All right, anybody else? Motion to adjourn, Grassi, Mr. Strainer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passed, we're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Question for you and
I didn't set it up.